Hello and welcome everyone to your brother and sister. I am Jethro, the younger brother.
Stop, that was weird.
What was weird?
Welcome to your brother and sister. I don't know, it just sounded weird.
Oh.
I thought we were just going to do like, I'm your sister Imogen and I'm your brother Jethro and just get straight into it like we did before.
I'm brother Jethro.
Did I cut you off with the baby?
Take two. Would you like to start it?
No, you go for it.
Hello and welcome everyone. I am your brother Jethro.
And I am your sister Imogen.
There we go. Did that first try.
That was definitely first try.
How you doing?
Good.
What is something that's happened in the last 24 hours that me and no one watching this would know?
Unless I told you.
Unless you told us.
I went into the kitchen while you were setting all this podcast stuff up and I saw a fresh jar of Nutella. Hadn't been opened. So I grabbed out a spoon. I was going to stab the seal with a knife, but I thought, no, let's just use one utensil in case I push too hard and we have to lick the knife, which is not as safe. So anyway, stabbed it with a spoon, peeled off the edges and put the spoon in and I thought, this is going to be good. And it was just average, but I had a giant mouthful of Nutella right before this.
Nice. Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
There you go.
What's something that's happened in the last 24 hours that I would not know unless you told me?
I got scared by a bush turkey yesterday in front of a lot of people, which was slightly embarrassing.
Oh, dear.
I was like looking at the surf and I was on this concrete kind of lookout platform thing.
Okay, so you weren't in the water.
I wasn't in the water. No, I wasn't like an amphibious bush turkey or anything. It like ran up and I didn't realize what it was. And then like it got really close to me and I was like, oh. And then I like looked around and there was like people watching and I was like sick. So I just like walked back to my car and just kind of sat there in shame.
Do you reckon that would be an ick?
No.
No?
No, I find it like funny but relatable when people get scared in public because I'm like, but at the same time it's like.
It just happened to you.
It just happened to me.
Other people like, to you.
Yeah, especially if I like do a little trip or something. I'm like, oh, because I actually like verbally say something. I'm like, oh. So.
I did not know that.
There you go. I was scared. Is it a bush turkey or a brush turkey?
Well, that's a whole debate that I don't want to get into today.
Okay, because I call it a bush turkey.
I think it's a bush turkey as well.
I've heard people call it a brush turkey. I think I've seen it written as brush.
I'm pretty sure there are signs that say brush turkey.
Yeah, which is weird to me.
Yeah, that's not right. It's a bush turkey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. Well, Imogen, do you want to start the conversation candle that we have the floral conversation candle? Nice. Did that go out straight away? Or was that actually on?
I think it's on. I have no idea. This is the first time I've ever lit this candle.
I mean, it's smoking.
It is smoking. It might be like an incense thing.
This is going to be a really fun podcast.
Or it's just gone out and, the conversation's already died before it even started.
It. I think it's gone out.
I might try light it again. There we go.
There we go. Now we're cooking. Nicely done.
And it's pretty accurate for cooking, smoking things.
Yeah.
Making messes.
All right. Shall we get started?
Sure.
Alrighty. Well, this all came about, this podcast, YouTube channel, everything came about.
Because our mum and dad love each other.
Yeah. We won't go that far back, but yes, that is true. Earlier this year, you and I both got out of long-term healthy relationships.
Somewhat healthy.
Somewhat healthy. And mine was actually mid to late last year and yours was this year.
Yeah.
But around
2023 for those of you who are listening in the future.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember I just started talking to this guy, or like I met a guy and he was pretty cute and I didn't know anything about him and I didn't know how to flirt or anything. And I pulled Jethro aside after he came home from a surf one day and it was really funny. You were still in your like change towel and wanted to like, I don't know, probably get in comfy clothes and have a chill afternoon. Anyway, we ended up talking for like 2 hours because I asked Jethro the question, how do you flirt? And then, 2 hours later, we're still talking about all different kinds of things. And
when it comes to like just being single for the first time since, because it was both our high school sweethearts really.
Yeah.
And so being an adult outside of high school for the first time and being single was like foreign to us, and we
Yeah.
were like, what do we do?
What is this crazy world?
How do you be single? And which was cool because my ex and I broke up a little bit before you guys did, and it's very isolating and lonely because none of my friends had gone through something like that or had been with someone that long before, and to have you start to kind of bring up those, oh, how do you do this? What's this like? What are you meant to do here? It was kind of like made me feel not as alone in it and everything. And that is also a big reason why this podcast got made and everything for people out there who have gone through, will go through, are currently going through, not just this.
Not just relationship things, but like life things.
Life things as we try and go through it ourselves, and hopefully people can relate to it and feel a sense of connection.
I got to say, I was actually really grateful that you'd gone through your breakup like just before I did. I feel like
you're welcome.
Thank you for that. I'm sorry that happened, but looking at the positive side of it, it was really, really, really helpful to be able to talk to you about all that kind of stuff as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, I remember coming home and because before that, we wouldn't really have any deep conversations or anything as often or frequent.
I don't think so, yeah.
Yeah, and to have something in common.
Heartbreak,
not ideal, but something in common, it really led to more conversations around it and just other things when it comes to life and friends and making new friends and putting yourself out there in different environments. And I mean, in the last year, I've changed jobs and everything and I'm doing something completely different, and you're doing your thing and writing and everything.
Yeah.
So this podcast will kind of cover everything life involves as, we try and navigate through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been kind of a wild ride already.
It has been.
Yeah.
It has been.
All right. Let me ask you this, and we'll make it a full year, like, or maybe a little bit longer. So from the time that you and your ex split up to now, what are maybe like 3 major things that's happened for you? Like not necessarily highlights or lowlights, but like 3 things that you kind of, like if you had to pick, say 10 things at the end of the year, that would be your things for the year. What would that be for you just in the past, however many months it's been since you guys broke up?
Right, like what's changed?
Well, do you want me to go first as an example?
Yeah.
Okay, so like I would say the kind of 3 things would be splitting up with my ex and actually making that decision, going through that. It was not fun, but it was something really like impactful and something I'll always look back on and remember. Another thing would be planting trees up in the Daintree in Cairns, and just having these baby trees in my hands, putting them in the soil and patting them down and helping plant a rainforest. I thought that was really fun. And then another like memorable moment of the last few months, I think that's a good way to say it. Memorable moments. Yeah.
Okay.
Another one would probably be I've got a lot on my list already. I'm up to like 7 or 8 for the year so far.
That's good.
I'm just trying to pick which one. Maybe doing a night swim in bioluminescence under the Milky Way and seeing a shooting star.
All in one night.
All in one night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like lying in the ocean, like this is really cool. And there's like bioluminescence around me. Yeah. That was a memorable moment.
That is so cool. I feel like that's like bucket list, like at least once, and you've done it. That's so sick.
Definitely want to do it again.
Yeah, that's awesome. That makes sense.
We'll phrase it that way. 3 memorable moments since things ended with your relationship.
So obviously that. The first one would probably be leaving my last job. That was pretty big because I was working with dad.
Yeah.
So and I've worked with him for the last 2.5 years. And so not doing that anymore and walking away from that was also pretty big.
Was that big in a good way, big in a scary way? Big in a
Big,
sad way?
big scary way. It was like, I knew it was the right thing to do for me at least. And I mean, it's great. I loved working with dad. I think it's the best thing. But I wanted to do stand-up comedy and do other things. And which leads to, that's number one, leaving that, because that's its whole thing in itself, like leaving a job. And the second thing would probably be starting stand-up comedy and actually getting up on stage for the first time and doing a show. And I've done like a fair few now. So that and just like being a comedian, like that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
And the third thing is going down to Sydney for a week on my own. And I've never done a trip like that where it's just me and I take care of everything. And
You have to support yourself and feed yourself. And
yeah,
all
yeah.
that.
So that was probably the third thing that was really cool and fun to just kind of be like, oh, okay, it's like kind of like choose your own adventure. It's like I can do
Yeah.
whatever I want. It's sick.
I remember getting like a text from you at 1 a.m. or something, and you're like, I'm going to get food now.
Yeah. Well, the great thing was went down to Sydney, so everything's like still open then.
Yeah.
And at 11 o'clock at night, it's busy. Like people are still going out with their kids to watch movies and everything. It's just
It's a bit of a different world.
yeah. So taking that in was really cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, staying in the hostel was like an experience.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now, Jethro and my relationship to each other has come a long way over the years. We used to be those siblings that would fight over our other brother in the car. He would have
Yeah.
to sit between us so we wouldn't get into a physical like fist fight.
You're the oldest and I'm the youngest.
Yes.
And so
I feel like there was a lot of, there's been definite moments over the years where like I had to wait extra long for a particular, Christmas toy or getting a phone or something like that. And you just like get it straight away at the same point in time. It's like, no, you should have to. Anyway, we're not going to get into that.
yeah, sibling politics.
Where I'm going with this was I've actually lost my train of thought. I was going to say something about,
Oh, our relationship's changed
yeah.
since being
And-
like younger and
Oh,
everything.
that's it. I was going to compliment you.
Oh,
so that's
please
where
do.
this is going. So when Jethro said that he did his first stand-up comedy gig, I and my family were very blessed to be there and watch.
Whoop, whoop.
And yeah, if I wasn't your sister, I would still say that you were the funniest guy that night. So he actually is funny.
There you go.
You actually are funny, Jethro.
Thanks for the validation.
Yeah. Just thought I'd say that and be nice.
Thank you. If we're giving out compliments, since your breakup with your ex, which happened kind of at the start of the year,
Yeah, February.
seeing you like grow and actually be still a good person and not hold a grudge or a chip on your shoulder, because you hear some people that just talk very negatively about their ex and it's just kind of, you can kind of tell they haven't really not moved on, but they still have like a grudge kind of.
They haven't processed things or
Yeah. To see you like go out, make new friends and be you and in a way that's like true to who you are is really sick to see. Like it's, yeah.
Thanks, bro.
If we're giving compliments, I just thought I'd throw one in there.
I'd
so
like that. Thank you.
yeah. So I am the youngest. You are the eldest. Mm-hmm. Our brother's the angel child
In the middle.
in the middle.
I feel like he really is, isn't he?
Yeah. And yeah. So this podcast will just kind of follow, our own journeys, but also family together, I guess.
We've got a lot to talk about. We end up having really good chats late into the night. I'll come home from something. Last night, I had a first date last night.
Yeah.
And I got home and I was like, oh, Jethro's light's in his room still on. I'll go up and say hi. I open the door and you're asleep on the bed and you kind of give me this look like, don't you dare come in here and talk to me. And I'm like, I need to process things. How am I going to do this? And I actually shut the door. I said goodnight to you. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow. I shut the door and I walked like down 3 steps and I'm like, do I really need to talk to Jethro right now? And I probably stood there for about 30 seconds like, I should go wake him up. He's done it to me.
Oh yeah, I've walked into your room and be like, hey, listen to this.
You just lay on my bed and I'm like, dude, I'm literally like 2 seconds away from falling into a deep sleep. And then you just chat for like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm here for you.
To be fair, there is no excuse for that because I have done that to you, yes.
Yeah.
Would
Would that make me the nicest sibling then? The more considerate sibling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. For this time, yeah. Yeah, I wasn't planning on falling asleep. I just started watching something and I don't usually fall asleep before I actually go to bed.
Yeah. Wait, you don't fall asleep before you go to bed? That's so weird.
Well, I should probably reword that differently. I don't like nap or fall asleep doing something.
Yeah.
Like when I'm like, oh, I'm about to fall asleep, I actually go to bed. But yeah, last night my lights were still on and I think I was still watching something.
Right.
And yeah, then you came in and I was like,
Go away, please. That would have been a long chat too.
yeah, yeah.
Like we still need to have that chat.
Yeah.
Maybe not here.
No,
Maybe not just yet.
Okay.
It will come up eventually.
We'll talk about this
Yeah.
exact situation that you went on last night.
Yeah.
Situation, date.
It was a date, yeah.
Yeah. Well, how was it? Just one word. How was it? Oh, okay. How was the date overall in one word?
Fun.
How was him?
Him.
How was him? One word overall.
Do you mean how was he over?
How was
all in
him?
One word.
Is that not right? How was
he? How was him?
How was him?
He.
He. Yeah.
Yep.
I got a C in English all throughout high school, so that makes sense.
I
Adds
did
up.
English extension.
There you go, and you right. So yeah, how was he overall last night? Oh,
For those of you listening, I've got a smile on my face. I'm trying to think of one word.
Oh, you can't put them into words.
Let's just go with nice.
Nice.
I feel like that's
What was nice about? No, okay. Well, that's all. So that would you say that's your first proper date?
no.
Since?
I've had one. I've had like a video chat date. The guy actually called it a date. And I also had a date that wasn't called a date, but it was so a date. And I had a coffee date as well, which we ended up walking around like a sculpture festival instead. So that was actually kind of nice.
Yeah.
But
How was the video date call thing compared to actually meeting them in person?
it was weird because I've never done that before, and I don't video chat people aside from, like my ex and I used to video chat, and I video chat with one of my friends who lives on the other side of the country. So I was a little bit nervous. I'm like, I'm gonna stare at a phone and talk to somebody on the other side. He's like right there. It's just his face.
Yeah.
But we ended up talking on that for like 2 hours. It was actually all right. There were a couple of moments though where, like, you know how silences just happen? See, I have taught myself to love awkward silences. And because I don't find them awkward, I just think, okay, if it's silent, I'm comfortable. Whatever they're feeling is their issue. If they want to make it awkward, they can, but it's really just the intent you put into the silence. So there are a couple of like quotation marks, awkward silences. And I actually said to him at one point, by the way, I'm really comfortable with awkward silences. So if you're not feeling great, that's on you. And he like laughed at that. So yeah.
You do that. You do, you're very comfortable in like,
I'm just in my own world. I'm just being me.
yeah. You
Yeah.
are you. And that's like, whether it's like a first date or someone you've known for ages, like you are you.
I'm the same with everybody.
Yeah. And that kind of goes back to like seeing you like after your ex kind of broke up and everything, you've, I think, made like an effort just to like really like focus on you and be who you are. And it really shows to be on like a phone call and be like, hey, and actually call it out. Like that's, yeah.
Because you can sit there and they might think that you're feeling awkward, but I'm like, I'm not feeling awkward,
I'm like,
dude.
this is great.
I'm like happy just to sit here and stare at you for. Although he wasn't. I'm happy to
Just
sit here
stare.
and stare at the phone for like 2 hours if that's what ends up happening.
Is that what it is when it's like a because I don't video call people that I don't really know or like haven't like I'm not really fully comfortable with. So
It was all right. It was just like
Yeah.
it was just like this. It
Right.
was just like a conversation, except instead of you being there, it was a phone there, and you were inside the phone.
gotcha.
That's what it's like. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, because my
It's
ex,
like when we video chat when you were in Sydney,
yeah,
but just 2 hours longer.
yeah. Do you video chat usually, like outside of that type of thing?
No, I don't usually. I'm getting used to sending like voice messages and stuff because it's the same as a text. It's like less effort actually because you just tap one button and talk. But I wouldn't mind doing more video chats with people. I think it's more fun and you can do different filters and things and
It's more like personable as well. We can actually like,
yeah. Yeah. Like I video chat with my friend across the country and that's really nice to actually get to see her. So I guess it might be a little bit different with like close quarter people, but yeah.
Yeah, because it's friends and family, I'm fine with it. But if it's like someone I haven't really spoken to, it can be a bit hard to like find a rhythm. Because for me, it's like you kind of get into a rhythm of like the body language, the flow of things, and then it's like, oh, okay, cool. And then if you're doing that over a phone, it's like just a little bit more harder for me at least. But yeah.
Oh no, it was definitely strange talking with a complete stranger over the phone.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even a call. It was just, I think it probably would have been more awkward if it was a call.
Yeah.
Like not being able to see him and read his like body language and or at least his face and shoulders body language. Yeah.
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 Isn't it like strange that 20 years ago that date
Wouldn't have happened.
Never would have existed or been a thing.
Yeah.
And you probably never would have met him.
Yeah. Well, I met him on Facebook, so that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
That's weird. Technology's come very far.
And going back to the date you had last night, are you going to go on a second one?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, there is. We have something to talk about. Okay. Roger that. There you go.
Yeah.
So
don't worry, you get all the details in a minute.
Yeah. So besides relationships, we talk about that and being single quite a bit because it is something that we have just gone through.
And are still trying to figure out.
Exactly.
Yeah. In fact, actually, I talked to Dad today and gave him a hug. And he's like, how was your date last night? I said, good. He said, that's all I'm going to ask. I'm like, this is so weird. This is so confusing just being in this time of life.
Yeah.
And he said, yes, the thoughts that go through your head, the constant like wondering and all that kind of stuff, it's the fun part of it, but it's also the horrible part of it.
Like, am I going to die alone? Who knows? Exciting.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Well, you're doing great. You seem to like attract really good people into your life. So
I'm literally just being me.
There you go.
It's like that reel that's going around on Instagram at the moment. And it's like my something or my red flag or my green flag or something is being completely weird and seeing who sticks around. And
oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just vibing with that.
There you go. There's no like jump scare later when you're like 3 dates in and it's like, okay. And then you start being.
Start being like different.
Yeah. So it's not just relationships that we'll be talking about and everything. It's also hobbies. We also go surfing and everything. You go on hikes every now and then.
You do your music and your, well, it's not a hobby, but your stand-up comedy stuff and your writing with your, music and your poetry and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
and I just got a retail job as well.
Yep.
So
we need to go shopping.
There's that as well. Yes. Yeah. Get the discounts because it's at a
a surf store.
Yeah. So it's just going to cover all of that, and for this first one, is there anything else you would like to say?
No, just that I think the candle's been dripping, so I'm glad I put a thing under it.
Oh, is that not a part of it?
No, that's a plastic little dessert cup from the pantry.
I was going to say, whoever made that candle, like, that's an interesting, like...
Looks like a sombrero hat.
It does.
I was thinking, oh, should I be fancy and get like a green Sharpie and draw like vines around it? And then I was like, no, I'll probably completely botch it. It'll look really bad.
There you go. All right. Well, we did it.
We did it. I will talk to you in a minute about
I'm going to get a debrief, and then maybe in the coming episodes we might hear a little bit more about it.
Maybe.
Your date.
We'll see.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching and listening.
Yeah. We'll talk to you next time.
Talk to you next time. Bye. There we go.